Hey, welcome everyone. Pat Mitchell here with TrickTrades, and in this free video lesson, I'm going to go over how a well-formulated trade plan can really pay off. So let's get into it. Okay, folks, so I want to go over how to formulate a trade plan, how we formulate a trade plan at TrickTrades, and then how to execute said trade plan. So on Friday, we had a really nice pre-market plan of attack, which we always do every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and where I kind of go over 10 to 15 stocks, tell you exactly what I want them to do, and then if the stock doesn't do that, if it doesn't hit those price points, then we just move on. We look for other plays, right? This is our trade plan. A trade plan is important. It's key to success. Don't let these people tell you that coming up with a trade plan is something to laugh at or knock. That just really shows just their level. They're not on any type of professional status level, in my opinion, if they are knocking a trade plan. Okay, and that's all this is about. It's trade plans. It's not predictions and all that bullshit that they like to try and tell you. All they're trying to do is dissuade you from another person's service. It's ridiculous is what it is. So anyways, so how this video lesson is going to work, it's going to work a little bit differently than most of my other trade plans or my other videos. So what we're going to do is first, I'm going to cut up first the SPY, okay, from the TrickTrades pre-market plan of attack, live, recorded. This is all recorded live. So I'll go over the SPY and what I wanted to see with the SPY. And the SPY is the S&P 500 ETF. That's basically what we use to track the market and to kind of gauge the overall market sentiment, okay? So first I'll show you that, and then I'll go over the TrickTrades pre-market plan of attack on AMD, where I'm discussing with my members the levels that I want to see on AMD and what I want to see it do out of the gate. So when the bell goes, my members are fully prepared. And we really capitalized on AMD. Okay, so I want to just show you, and it's not just about TrickTrades and how we do it. I want you guys, my YouTube subscribers, to really be able to benefit from something like this. So let's get into it now. Let's roll the tape of the SPY. So first, let's do that. Tino, roll the tape.
Don't get overwhelmed. And then I wanted it to ramp into the 9 EMA and get hung up on that resistance. That didn't happen. We're actually gapped over the 9 EMA. Okay? So I will watch for a pullback to this 248.29. Hold that support and then ramp again.
Okay, so with that video, now you just saw that recorded action of the TrickTrades pre-market plan of attack. I'm going over what I want to see the SPY do first thing in the morning as soon as the bell goes, okay? So you saw how it came down, it tested that level perfectly, and then it ramped back up, okay? That's what I wanted it to do, okay? That was my plan, and how to implement that is it's a way to gauge these stocks, okay? That's what I'm trying to get across to you guys. That's how we use the SPY. Some people don't know how to trade alongside the SPY, and they get all confused about it. Well, if they almost get into a chicken and egg type of conversation with themselves. Well, if the market tracks these stocks, do these stocks follow the market, or does the market follow the stocks? It doesn't matter. Okay, don't complicate shit. Just take it for what it is. Okay, So now that you saw that spy clip, now when I go over my plan of attack, now you'll understand what I was looking for, okay? So now the second part of this video, let's go over the AMD Advanced Micro Devices TrickTrades pre-market plan of attack, okay? So Tino, roll that clip.
On NVIDIA. AMD looking for that 9 EMA test. See, AMD has a lot of overhead moving average resistance. So not only do we have a nice round number of 18, but we have the 9 EMA and the 200 SMA all right there within 50 cents of each other. So let it kind of do its thing. Let it ramp up. Look for some topping in and around these moving averages and kind of go from there. That's what I'm going to be doing, guys.
Okay, so that is what I wanted AMD to do. That's the trade plan. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so now pay attention when I get into the trade recap of the levels it hit and what it did going into that level. And I'll discuss that a little bit further. And it's funny, there's so much shit going on this nonsense on Twitter about, you know, predicting stocks, you know, just don't predict, just react. Guys, it's not about prediction. I can't say that enough. It's got nothing to do with fucking prediction, okay? Stop listening to these guys. It's about developing a trade plan, and that's what these simpletons can't seem to understand, that it's about a trade plan. And if they don't understand that, and they've been doing this for 10 or 15 years, then, guys, they've been trading these fucking penny stocks way too long, okay? And it's rotted their brains. So let's get into that trade recap, and let's do this. Tino, roll it. Okay, so as you've seen how I wanted to implement my trade plan and what my trade plan was, now we'll get into the actual trade on AMD. So follow closely because there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of moving pieces. So I'll just go over the charts here quickly, explain the different levels, and then I'll go over I have an annotated charts with all the entries and exits and executions and all that stuff. So just hang in there. So as I said first, when I went over what I wanted to see with the SPY, I wanted to see, and I got my SPY chart here. So I wanted to see the SPY open up, the market open up, dump back to the previous day's highs, and then I wanted to see a bounce, and that's exactly what happened. That's what this green line is. 248.29 was the previous day's highs. Came down, tested it basically to the penny, give or take. Let's see, lows here 31, and lows here 31. So off by 2 cents. So it gives you a really good solid idea. So you could have very easily taken this long, and that's fine because it gave you a really nice opportunity to get in. Because when it dumped back to support, got sucked up, came back a little bit more, got sucked up again. You have a double bottom on the micro scale, right? So you could have taken that long, pushed it back into high of day. That wasn't my plan. My plan was to just wait for the push, the market to push, which AMD follows the market very, very closely. You can see it did basically the exact same thing and then hit that short. So I was looking for, so now that you can see that it did exactly that, it pulled back to support and bounced. Okay, so just let me get rid of this again, and let's go over AMD. So I want to point out this purpley pink line here, that's the 9 EMA on the daily, okay? So I use e-signal charts to trade off of during the trading day. They will plot these moving averages from the daily chart onto my intraday chart because they will fluctuate and move around a little bit. So I'm using TC2000 because I find it easier to navigate while I'm doing video lessons. So that's why I'm using TC2000. But this pink line, and it's represented on the e-signal annotated chart, is the 9 EMA on the daily. So that's, remember, from the previous videos there, from the pre-market plan of attack. That was my trade plan, to watch it go a nice quick push into that heavy resistance area of the 9 EMA. And that's what it did. Okay? So dumped out, you can see it held exactly when the market held. Okay? And then it pushed back up with force, with speed. It went parabolic into a heavy resistance area, and I grabbed it short. I grabbed the front side of the move. People talk about front side, back side, whatever. It doesn't matter. When you use support and resistance, and it's a strong support or resistance area, you can take that as gospel, because sometimes when these pull, they pull really hard. Now, that's not necessarily a setup that I would ever recommend a new trader to go with. I would wait for that confirmation with a lower high here. This is where I would tell you to get in, right? Wait for this, all right? So anyways, let's go to the annotated chart. And I annotated it just so then it was nice and easy to see. So, and I took a screenshot of it just because then you can see my mouse. I don't know how to do that and then you can see my mouse as well. So instead of doing like a voiceover, that's why I decided to do it like this. So, okay, so my short entry here was at 17.99, basically whereabouts my arrow is. 17.99, and then a few minutes later, I grabbed it on this pop candle. I added another 3,000 shares, okay? So I hit it twice, and then just let it work. As it pulled back, I took some covers, okay? I left 1,000 shares on, just to kind of see what it wanted to do. Now, it came back up, and what I wanted to do was really hammer it back on this when it retraced, okay? These stocks do this sort of stuff day in and day out, guys. This is what a lot of penny stock guys, they don't understand. These stocks have these exact same patterns that they follow almost day in and day out. See, that's where the miscommunication and just their lack of knowledge of how these stocks move, they don't get it, right? They think everything moves like a penny stock erratically and, with major emotion. These higher price stocks, that's why I preach trading higher price stocks. They move so clean and they're so predictable. Some days it's like shooting fish in a barrel, and we do this day in and day out. So anyways, I really wanted to add size. I wanted to hit it with 10, 15,000 shares on this and then make this my trade. But I didn't like that it double bottomed here. It's a really good sign of strength, and it was a real solid double bottom. So I was like, I'll take a stab at it. I'll re-add. So I added back 1,000 shares. And then when it came down, I didn't like the volume. There really wasn't a whole shitload of volume. I didn't like what I was seeing on the tape necessarily. So I ended up just getting out, and I was going to look for a reset. So now I'm all covered up. Okay. So now I'm kind of looking at the market as well. Remember, guys, I gauge the market, not just the one stock in particular. The market to me looked like it was setting up, because it has been for the past, week and a half, 2 weeks. It has a really a midday or late day squeeze. Okay. So that's what I wanted to get in on. So my entry wasn't the greatest on the long side. I didn't necessarily care. I was looking for the longer time frame. I'm looking for the end of day squeeze. That's what I'm looking for. My stop would have been the break of this right here. Okay, this support. That's where I would have stopped out. I wouldn't have taken it down to here. I would have said, if it's breaking this, it's most likely going to come down and test low of day. So that's why I ended up just getting in. Not worried about necessarily my entry per se. Could have been more patient and got a way better entry or an ad. The reason why I didn't is because I was taking off. What I like to do to give patience in certain trades, especially if I have a bigger picture idea, like if I'm looking for the end of day push or an end of day sell off, I end up taking off for a bit. I walk away, I set my stops, and that's it. I just let these things work. Okay, do not micromanage your positions, or else you're gonna look like an amateur with 147 entries on one stock during the day, which is nonsense. In out, in out, in out, in out, in out. Just let the trade work, okay, guys? Let the trade work for you. So I got in and then just let it work. Not a huge position, only 3,000 shares, just looking for the range to pay me. There wasn't a lot of range on AMD. Now, I'm not saying that this trade is some sort of home run. It isn't. This is a base hit. The reason why I'm showing you this is because it came to plan perfectly. You know, it's just another example and a testament to the TrickTrades education and how we do things. This is what we look for every day, okay? So I got in, went to town, I came back, and then finally it squeezed. Now, do you see this here? This is a really nice signal that this thing is about to rip, okay? Now, on the SPY, it did the same thing right here, okay, at this time. I ended up grabbing the SPY long, and usually I'll take options. I didn't have time to fire up my other platform because I was just mainly trading equity. I did take an options trade earlier on the market. I grabbed this squeeze back up on some SPY calls. But I just took the SPY long, 2,000 shares of the SPY, and rode it all the way up, okay? I was also on the phone with a member at the time, walking him through a trade. He's been having some issues pulling the trigger. So while the market was going, I was on the phone with him and I was coaching him through, and he took Apple right up at highs here. And I told him, take that fucking trade, pull the trigger, pull it. And he walked it back for 2.5 points. He shorted it back for 2.5 points. So I'm helping my members and I'm trading as well. I got a lot going on during the day, guys, right? Like, I'm fully committed to you. So anyways, I just wanted to point out that I did take another trade on a separate stock, well, an ETF, but that's a whole nother story. And then I just let it work. Peeled some off here, and then I just peeled on the way up, and then that was it. Okay. Now, like I said, I actually wanted to flip it short as well and catch the backside on it running back down into the close. There's a reason, and I just did a really good members only video lesson that shows why I got in on the SPY here and why I got out right up at highs, from lows to highs, man. And then like I said, I wanted to go short, but I was on the phone with a member trying to walk him through and getting him over his fear of pulling the trigger. So those are my exits. That was the trade. It was a really nice trade. Like I said, it's not a home run, massive P&L trade. It's not. I only had 6,000 shares, right? Not a big deal. These aren't crazy trades, right? You know, sometimes I'll take some size, but I've decided not to size back up until the new year. And once we get that retrace back up on the market, which is what we got. I did say that it would come back into the 250 area and then start to pull back, and that's what it's done. So we'll see what it does. So anyways, guys, that's what I wanted to show you. And that's the trade. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned because I'm going to wrap this up. Okay, folks, so that was the trade recap. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have learned something from this. If anything, take away developing your own trade plan. Okay? That's what you need to do. It's so important that we develop trade plans. We do it every morning at 9 a.m. at the TrickTrades pre-market plan of attack. Okay? We go over this, over 10 to 15 plays. So if you don't want to trade Apple or AMD, we'll go over and we do the rangers and gappers too. So the pre-market movers. We go over all these trade plans, all these specific levels, and 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, that's what these stocks do. They come down to these support levels and then they go. Or if they ramp out of the gate, they'll ramp into resistance, key resistance levels that I call out, and then they come down. Trading doesn't need to be difficult, guys. I'm telling you it doesn't need to be. So stop listening to these fools. Take some advice from someone that actually knows what the hell they're doing and can guide you properly. And come visit Trick Trades. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And adios, folks.